Lesson 5, Part 6. This is Lesson 5, Part 6. Lesson 5, Part 6. I've given you your reading assignment. That was in the first part of Lesson 5. So make sure you read those chapters. It's a little bit more reading than you've had to do in the past. But those are very important chapters to build on and continue on what we've been talking about of developing the interpersonal facilitator, the interpersonal leadership skills that I believe are required for you in all your leadership positions that you'll have. You're looking at page 28 of the note packet, the comfort zone, understanding this model and knowing that you'll have this model to complete and discuss about in your test. We've talked about all the elements except trust, and this is the last thing that we need to talk about, which is the most important thing to talk about. Without trust, there's no learning and there's no growth, and I'll say that firmly. And there's a decent amount of research that supports this assertion. And I'll give you an example. If we look at the student-teacher relationship, I'll ask you this question, and it may be a discussion board question. What teacher did you have growing up that you really liked? What teacher did you have growing up that you really liked? And chances are this teacher that you really liked, you trusted. Okay, because usually in a positive relationship, there's trust. when relationships are negative, it's because there's no trust. Is one of the primary factors. And so you like this teacher, and chances are your grade was excellent as compared to the classes where you had a teacher. So I got the hiccups. Your teacher didn't like your teacher for some reason. Okay, and chances are your grade was lower. And there's statistical evidence that shows a very strong correlation between having a positive relationship with your teacher and your improvement or your grade achievement. So we're looking at that, and David Hawkins has a good way of describing this, and it's called the I-thou relationship, or the I-thou-it. It sounds a little really weird, but David Hawkins is a primary theorist, so you can find information on him. David Hawkins, what he's saying is most relationships are the I and the thou. I is you, and the thou is the other person. Okay, so just a two-person relationship. And you're usually drawn to another person because of commonality. Okay, but it can conclude in a significant other, or it can conclude just a friend. But commonality is what drives you to be or to socialize or to hang out with a group of people, whether online or in person. The I, thou, it is a three-part relationship with two people. And what the it is the knowledge, the mystique, the knowledge that one individual has that draws the other individual. So in a student-teacher relationship, or the I, thou, it, I being the teacher, thou being the student, it being the information the student needs. A student might choose a class. A student in a class might have a positive relationship with the teacher. But what gets them there and begins that relationship and actually makes it consistent is the it. As soon as they've learned everything from that teacher, the relationship may fade. I, thou, it. A guide who was staying at the banks of the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, what an excellent place to be, possesses the it, the knowledge about rafting, the knowledge about being able to cook a tasty Dutch oven meal, and get the group from point A to point B, all the way through the rapids, all the way down the river, and get them home safely. That's the knowledge the guide presents. The individuals that show up, that are going to enter into a professional relationship with that guide, are after the it. They could care less about the guide, whether the guide has dreadlocks or not. Okay. They're after the it. They're after the knowledge the guide possesses. So now you're like, well, why is this important? Well, we're talking about trust. The first step to building trust between a group and a leader is your knowledge about the it. If you know what you're talking about, if you have solid informational background, experience-based background, judgment-based background about what you're doing, the group will automatically or begin to respect you. And respect is the gateway to building trust. If your group shows up and you're prepared, you got the boats, you're prepared, and the first thing you start doing is commanding and control the group in a positive way and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, and you're just talking about all the things that you know about the it. The it is your ability and your knowledge to take a group safely down the river, and you do that. This is, you're talking about the it. The group's like, wow, they're really impressed. Equipment looks good, staff looks good, sound knowledgeable. I respect you, and trust begins to develop. And once trust begins to develop, people are more willing to take the risk that you present to them. Okay? So I'll say that again. As trust develops, as you begin to trust that teacher, that facilitator, that leader that possesses the it, whatever you want, whatever the it is, it could be knowledge, it could be the river trip, it could be whatever you're there to be in communication with that leader. As trust develops, you will accept and attempt the challenges posed by the leader. As trust develops, you will begin to believe in yourself. You trust that the leader would only provide you challenges you could succeed in. And as that trust develops, now you'll do it. Case in point, I'm on the river trip, and I tell people in the paddle raft to move around. And some people tell me, I don't want to be in the front of the paddle raft because that's the most challenging spot. I say, okay, well, that's always open to you. The front's always open to you. And I have people that tell me at the beginning of the trip, I'm never going in the front. I'm never going to go in the front. Okay, fine, your choice. No big deal. As the days go on, they see that we really understand the it, or how to run the trip. Trust builds. The next thing I know, the 4th and the 5th day, the people that tell me they'd never ride in the front are always sitting in the front. Trust is a powerful ally, and if it's something that must be respected and must be used, you must be very careful. And as in this class, we'll talk about ethics in lesson 6, and realize that if we have the right ethical bubble, the right ethical boundaries, we as leaders can fashion trust, good trust and respect between the group, the facilitators, the leaders, and watch how people will take risks, they'll stretch their comfort zone, and they'll grow. And when you're done with your trip, when you're done leading that group, and they've experienced, they've taken the risks, and they've taken the challenges, and they've experienced wonderful results, it is extremely rewarding. But we must be able to use trust to our advantage in always the highest and appropriate way. Never to manipulate, never for gain. A leader must be extremely transparent. We find absolutely none of them, those kind of leaders, in any kind of politics. So please don't look there. What you need to look for are the leaders that are in the position. They're in the position to have a selfless mindset. Okay, when I'm on a river trip, okay, or we're taking people, wherever we're taking them or leading them, I'm not in a position where somebody's going to be bribing me to give special treatment to somebody or something like that. That's just not the game. We're on the bottom tier here in terms of leadership, and it gives you the opportunity to be fully transparent, completely open, and develop a strong level of trust, okay, where people's needs are being met. And I know this sounds a bit ideological, and it does. There are many difficult participants. There are many participants who decide from the beginning they're not going to like you, and there's never going to be any trust there. Well, that's their choice, okay. And again, that's why you're responsible to and not for. You do your best to set up a trust-based, supportive atmosphere and environment, so that the people that are willing to take advantage of that and do something different, like sit in the front of the boat, okay, or do something different, like tie in and do that rock climb, and on the 4th time be successful. Those are the people you will impact. Okay, can't do anything about the people that are just not interested. Okay, all you can hope is that the environment, the lure of that positive, trusted environment, and the positive interaction with the facilitators is what pulls them in. Okay, because don't feel like you can get everybody. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. But there's plenty of well-able participants out there that can enter in a good, positive, professional, trusting relationship with you, and then they will step up and rise up to any challenges you present to them, and the results can be astounding.